Hello and welcome to the Pick Up and Play podcast with me, Adam Conway, your host this week. How are we all?
Yeah.
Much better now you're hosting. Can't stand that old guy.
It's harsh.
It's very harsh, yeah. So earlier today we had a little chat about who would host the podcast. Immediately, Dan put his hand up and apparently immediately regretted it.
So I don't offer to do anything.
So I stood up and took over. So here we are. So it's been about 2.5 weeks since we last recorded because we've just been a bit shit, really, haven't we? But
we're lazy.
Scott, yeah. Scott, you've been on holiday twice.
Yeah, I went on holiday twice, but it makes it sound like I went a lot further and did a lot more stuff than I actually did. I went to Cornwall for 4 days and then went to Wales for 4 days. So it's not really. I'm not exactly a jet setter.
And you learnt to surf, apparently.
Well, that was a long time ago. I just enhanced my skills. So this year I was sort of like catching some gnarly ones, walking the dog, and hanging 10. And I did this. Yes, man.
Scott's actually got massive dreadlocks. You just can't see it at the minute.
They hang down the back.
It's covering up his receded hairline. But
now, so this week, it's the first week that we are recording whilst also looking at each other on Zoom. So I'm going to have to remind Dan and Scott to not comment on each other's looks and what they're doing physically because the listener can't see.
We already had a bit of a tiff today earlier on Call of Duty.
We have had an argument.
I think we got it out of the system already.
See, I wasn't playing PlayStation with you earlier.
But I think it's probably
what
best.
happened?
I think it's probably best that we address the elephant in the room. Okay. I'm not referring to anyone's physical features, Dan. Okay, I'm just going to address what happened. So we decided to play a little bit of Warzone earlier, right? Yep. Everything was going great. Me and Dan were talking about the football. We were all getting along like we should do, like friends.
All three of you were on.
All three of us were on. Croxon was there. So Dan was being a bit of a wind-up, but he didn't basically have the patience for it. So he blew me up. On purpose because
just because it was really inventive. Scott had a helicopter and he parks it, and I put a claymore next to the helicopter, shot the claymore, and it blew him up.
So naturally, I was annoyed.
But Scott was already in one of these moaning moods. I think that's important, and I was on the wind up, so it's just flash.
So I had to use my armor to heal myself, and then flew the helicopter to, obviously like the big radio tower on the airfield. And when we get there, we were having a bit of a gunfight with the people on the platform. Dan decides to jump out and put himself on the ground floor. And me and Croxon were nicely perched on the top floor, right on the roof. And he says, "Can you come and get me, please?" So we come and get him. And then we all die because of his stupidity. We die. And then when we have a go at him for that, he rage quits whilst I was in the
gulag. My exact words were, "Scott, I can't be bothered with this. You're too moany. I just want to have fun," and then left.
Oh no!
So you went and sat on your own doing nothing?
No, I went and played with my dog.
Played with Growl.
So that was it. So look, I'll put it out to you, Conway. You can be like the adjudicator here. James was also moaning, I think it's fair to say. Why are we doing this?
Yeah, but there's differentiating levels of moaning. Yours is like when you're on one, you're. Look,
I will accept that, but I just can't put up with like incompetence and like just like your sort of level of like stupidity. I can't deal with it.
We're just bringing up bad blood. Shall we move on?
That's fine. So you've come into the podcast today with some.
We've had a text message, and we've apologised.
They're coming in hot.
No, we're not. We've actually resolved the matter.
Yeah,
okay, right.
So
we're all back on the same page, and we can all talk about games civilly. Okay, that's good. Okay, yeah. So let's move. So the main part of this podcast is that each week we pick a new game that we're gonna review and play all together. And talk about next week on the podcast. And if you were listening last week, you would have heard that I decided that we'd play WWE 2K19 as our game of the week. The reason it's the 2K19 and not 2K20 is one, because 2K20 has so many glitches in it that it's almost unplayable, and two, that 2K19 is free on PlayStation Now.
That's the main reason.
But Scott will tell you his opinions in a minute, I'm sure. We won't be able to stop him, but he was not happy about this at all. Me, Dan, and Croxon are, we enjoy a bit of wrestling. We're wrestling fans. Scott is the polar opposite of that. But the reason that we're getting the game of the week discussion out of the way early this week is because it went terribly.
It was shit, wasn't it?
Oh, it's just.
I
spent more time working on that character.
Say again, Scott.
The phrase Cheshire Cat comes to mind because I feel like I was right.
No. See, this is the thing. The reason that it all went badly was because the online play on WWE 2K19 is so bad that it was like playing drunk.
A child, yeah.
It was. No, Scott, I'm missing the point in every turn. The lag was so bad on the online play that we were unable to play it. It was you would push the button and about 2 seconds later your character would do what you wanted it to do.
Yeah, the lag was wonderful.
Which was a real shame because we all made our own characters. The WWE 2K19 custom characters page is really deep, and you can make some really funny and interesting characters. And Dan, what was your character called? Something to do with a hot dog?
Hot Dog Ron.
Hot Dog Ron. Now, Hot Dog Ron, I wish you could have seen it, listeners, because it was disgusting. There's an option on the creation to make them as oily as you'd like, and Dan put the oil meter all the way to the right. This guy
so he can't be grappled. There was tactical thinking.
Croxon made Fagin from was it Oliver Twist?
That's the one.
There is a background story to that. Yeah.
The background story. We'll get into that one day.
I spent more time making that character than we did playing the game. I was so disappointed that it went so badly.
Even though Scott was so adamant he didn't want to play it, he did actually put the effort in and make a character. What was yours called?
It was named after a red wine.
Of course it was. Of course it was.
I think I might have been called Cabernet or Merlot. I can't remember. Oh, yeah, it was Cabernet.
So we had good time watching each other's entrances and seeing each other's creations come out, and it was completely ridiculous. And then the gameplay was so awful that we all quit the game and didn't manage to save any of the video. So there's no video this week for the game of the week, and that's all we can really say about it. It was shit. It was unplayable. I like the game. I played the game's campaign, and it is a good game for what it is. If you like wrestling, which I do, but we couldn't do it as our game of the week.
The thing is, if you like wrestling, which obviously, as you know, I don't, but if I did like wrestling, and that is the flagship game in the wrestling franchise, it's shit.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's more of a game when you've got people around your house and you're playing it locally. It's actually a good laugh. The only thing that literally ruined that session was the fucking lag.
Yeah, so like you say, you played the campaign mode or story mode, whatever you want to call it. In comparison to all the other sports that are out there, maybe not some of the smaller sports like tennis and cricket and stuff, but like football, basketball, hockey, all these sorts of games, they're like head and shoulders above this. They really are in terms of like, okay, you can customize the characters. Okay, you can customize the characters, but it feels like a real afterthought in comparison to what the game's actually about. And also, you say the customization was good. It wasn't that great. All the clothes just hung off them. Like I'd put them on a mannequin in real life, and it was like really like it was a bit shit. I thought personally it was quite unrealistic, and it was made by 2K, which surprised me. They've made something so shit considering wrestling's
exactly. But if you had like FIFA or 2K basketball and the online was that bad, it would be a travesty. But okay, we're gonna move on now.
Can we just? Sorry, I know you want to move on, but obviously every week we vote these games whether or not it makes it in to the voter grade, whether it trashes or passes. And I think can we all categorically fucking trash this?
It will get a trash from me.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah. If you can't play online, then we can't review it. Basically,
trash.
That's it.
Get in the bin.
So, moving on, we have the feature everybody's waiting for, the Pick Up and Play podcast flagship feature, Croxon's Dubious News.
Croxon's dubious news disclaimer. All news stories are rumour and not to be taken as fact. All comments should be taken as such and likely nothing more than ramblings and nonsense, much like this disclaimer.
I love how James, because obviously no one can see it, James holds his mic when he's talking.
I'll be honest, I did not have that ready and I had to scramble to find it. Okay, so we are now in October. We are now into the launch of Season 6 of Warzone. The big sort of unanswered question with that now is the live event that's going to be coming up at some point during this month, which is the Haunting of Verdansk event. What are your guys' thoughts on that before I even get into what I've dug out so far?
I don't even know what it means.
I haven't seen anything about it.
It's going to be zombies or something in it, surely.
Yeah, I mean, there's meant to be the idea of a zombie royale event, but also does that map into the whole live event side of things? Are they one and the same, or is it going to be two separate modes that come out?
Do you know what this reminds me of? Fortnite did something very similar, because I love to refer back to Fortnite, because basically they did it first.
And our Fortnite correspondent.
Because I played it 2 years ago, but I never forget. They had the thing for Halloween where zombies, you'd just be running around a map and like zombies would just come up out of the ground and you have to shoot them. And I could see them doing something very similar with COD, maybe in certain areas.
I think it'd be a really good idea. Well, we say the Haunting of Verdansk is going to be really, really scary. It's not, because it's Call of Duty. They're not good at that. Anyway, if they did do something like that, I think it'd be cool if it was like 4 players against the CPU with like respawning zombies and stuff like in the map, like a sort of like Survivor Zombies, a little bit like Nazi zombies, I guess. But yeah, like I don't think us against everybody else, like a battle royale, but with it being in a scary platform, I don't think that's going to work.
I mean, it'd be really tough for Scott. Scott finds it extremely scary just playing the game as normal and general gunfighting.
So we all have a friend called Tom who classically cannot stand zombies. He's a big, strong boy, but when it comes to zombies, he is petrified. And he doesn't play as much these days, but we've got to get him playing it, guys.
If it is, yeah, I would like to get him on that. Although he hasn't got a PlayStation anymore, so perhaps he could come around my house. I don't know.
He does. Yeah. He got it back this weekend.
Ah, Croxon's dubious news strikes again.
There you go.
Real world events.
Coming from real world events. So, what in terms of like zombie? Just to give you some clarification on what it's potentially meant to be, is. No, not from data mining, from various articles.
All right, to get the dig in. To get it,
just get the dig right there. Get it in early. So essentially, the idea is that normal spawns, you've got zombies around the areas and progressing in as the gas progresses as well. The idea is to be the last team standing. You can go for an extraction, and if that fails, then you have to just out-survive. Once you're dead, if you become a zombie. If you're able, you can get either brought back, like raised from the dead by one of your teammates, like a normal buyback, or if you consume enough players' remains. So it's not like a 1-in 1-out scenario like we may have said a few months ago. But a little bit of the audio files that came through. Just going to play this out. See what you think of this.
Zombie Royale. Zombies are not affected by the gas. Caution, zombies are immune to the gas. Be careful, zombies are more powerful in the gas. Kill them all. Defend the chopper. Final stand, stay alive. The chopper is down, fight your way out.
And there's about 40 of them, but you get sort of a flavour of where that's going.
Yeah.
Interesting that the zombies are more powerful in the gas.
But why were we going to be in the gas? I don't care what's happening in the gas. I'm not in it. I'm either dead or out of the gas.
I've got to assume it's everyone who is moving forward away from the gas. If they're coming out of the gas, they're coming at you harder.
That sounds fun. I like that.
Yeah, I think it's a good change up, actually. I think it sounds like a good idea.
Okay, so since we've last recorded, the PS5 has been announced. The price and the difference between the two consoles. So that's a thing now in Generation 5, I guess, is 2 different versions of everything. You've got the Xbox Series X and Series S. Am I getting that right? And now we've got the PS5 Do they have different names, or is it just disc and disc?
It's just PlayStation 5, digital and with disc.
Digital and Blu-ray disc.
Yeah. Okay, so one has a disc drive and the other doesn't. So, as far as I know, that is the only technical difference between the two. Is that right?
No. I think there's a storage difference. Oh no, wait, no, there isn't.
I think they're exactly the same. I think
They
they're
are
exactly the same.
like
One's
for like,
digital only.
exactly.
Yeah.
Is one a bit smaller in terms of like?
No, well, one's slightly less wide because I don't need to put in the fucking disc drive. But other than that, they're exactly the same.
Who managed to get one?
This guy, yes.
Yeah, okay, so pre-orders are key apparently at the moment. I didn't bother to get a pre-order. Dan, what about you? Because I haven't spoken to you about this.
I didn't bother mainly because I usually don't get them on launch because there's no good games out on them, and there's not much difference between the PlayStation. Well, at least for 3 and 4, there wasn't much difference until around Christmas time or January, February when they started releasing.
Yeah. So when the PS4 came out, I wasn't really into gaming that much. Like I'd kind of just forgotten about games for the most part. So I wasn't in the whole sort of like, pre-order, like, who's got one, who hasn't. But this time around, I've got a gaming podcast. I'm interested.
And some friends.
Got friends. I found some friends in the interview.
Didn't pre-order those.
Yeah, the wrong ones came. It was really
a load of arseholes.
So I didn't immediately jump at the pre-orders like you and James did, because I thought it's coming out in 2 months.
How wrong?
Surely between now and then they'll have been able to fill the stock and we'll be fine. But looking like that's not going to be the case, and I'm probably going to have to wait. I'm not going to a midnight release, tell you that much. I'm going to bed.
But this was my thought process behind it, because I pre-ordered PS4 and got it on launch, and I think Dan was right. I think the games were a bit naff and there wasn't that much difference. But I got a PS4 on launch. PS5, there's definitely 100% going to be a difference in games when they get released. Because whilst you guys are still mucking about on your Switch and your PS4, me and Croxon will be loving life on PS5. That's a big difference, boys.
That brings us to the next point. What games are you looking forward to playing on PS5?
Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm sorry, I know Dan doesn't like Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon, I love the first one. They've been waiting for it to be banged out on PS5, and it's going to look sick graphically. And that's one I'm really looking forward to. Everything else I could have probably played on PS4. But what about you, Crox?
God of War. New release. Ragnarok is coming. I'm so excited for that game. I've played them all the way through since the first one. Did any of you guys pick up and play any of the recent one?
Do you know what? I have to admit, I've not played God of War
I've never played a God of War, and every time I see God of War, I just think, I'm so happy for Croxon that he's got this game coming out. It's just your game.
God of War fan then, Crox? I never do that.
Massively. It's the one game that I would go back to, and I've played over and over and over, and I've played again since we've all got ourselves the Now accounts on PlayStation.
Have you played it recently? I didn't know.
So it's on the Now, is it?
It's on Now. Games 1 to 3, plus one of the old, like the PS Vita or the PSP, whatever they were.
So versions. I feel like you love games where your character is in the middle and there's enemies all around the outside, and you just mash buttons to fight them all around the left and right. So like games that are Batman, like Arkham Asylum. Spider-Man is a game that does that as well.
Assassin's Creed.
Maybe. I don't know. Crox, you like Cross?
There was never a fan of that. I don't think it necessarily falls into the same category.
No, because I think it's a bit more sneaky, isn't it? Croxon just likes to go in and smash hard and smash fast.
Sneaky.
Sneaky Croco.
Did you like games like Dynasty Warriors and stuff like that?
See, when they were out, I used to play, like, when we picked up the demos and stuff on like the PS2 and stuff, I did like playing them games.
They were banging games.
They were just fun, just to smash things around.
They were just button smashers. Also, like you say, the new Spider-Man game's coming out, Valhalla. Is it Valhalla? For the new Assassin's Creed's coming out. So this is
Valhalla.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to playing it. My main reason I went on the pre-launch was because you can secure it with couriers for $5, although it was an absolute disaster. And then I knew it was in the run-up to Christmas, so I just thought I would never get one until like way into the new year. Which would make me like very upset.
So one game that is coming out, Conway, I don't know if you're interested in this. Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, I am actually into that.
What is this?
Harry Potter's cool, guys.
No, I like Harry Potter. I've been to Hogwarts.
You've been to Hogwarts?
Well, Warner Brothers Studios, where they. I like Harry Potter.
Did anyone ever play the version on the PS1 where it was like Hagrid had a face like it was like an anvil? It was just all flat, and his nose was like this wide. That was great. That game.
There was one on the PS2. I can't remember which number game it was, but it was like you could fly on your. At some point, you could fly on your broom around Hogwarts, and once I unlocked that, I just did that constantly the whole time. But no, I do like Harry Potter, and this new game is called Harry Potter. No, it's not called Harry Potter at all. It's called like Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy, yeah, and it's set in like the 1800s. So it's like set way before the actual Harry Potter stories, and you basically just make your character, and then you go to Hogwarts. And so initially it looked like it was, for the trailer, it looked like it was just, you go to Hogwarts, you do all the classes, and then you finish. But then it looks like afterwards you finish and you go on this whole adventure outside Hogwarts, like fighting monsters and beasts and stuff. So
all right,
it's going to be interesting to see how much of the game is in Hogwarts and how much of the game is after it.
It's just in that world.
Shame it's Harry Potter, isn't it, really? Imagine that would be Lord of the Rings.
This is I thought it was going to be like a Pokemon Go type thing.
No, see, there is a Pokemon Go Harry Potter thing called Wizards Unite, I think.
All right.
But I don't know if it flopped or not, but I haven't heard many people.
Well, I never heard much of it. No, the best Harry Potter game was Harry Potter Lego. Let's move on.
I've never played that.
Multiplayer Lego.
The Lego games, you can play 4-player, can't you?
Mm-hmm, yep.
Can you play them online?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
Oh, game of the week!
I bought one the other day. What was it? Marvel Superheroes 2. I always get really excited to play them, never play them. They're all really boring to play on your own.
Lego games are great as multiplayers, and
yeah.
I know they're childish, but and I personally think the best Lego game was Lego Lord of the Rings, where it could be Legolas.
That was great, yeah.
And you could be Gandalf, and it was quality. And if we could get that game, I would be all in. I'll be chipped in.
This is a bit of a pick up and play podcast board meeting type conversation here, but I think we should play a Lego game, all four of us. Because
it's my choice this week, Adam. Don't dictate again.
Not next week. At some point, it's just.
No, I agree.
What other games were there? Because we had some stuff written down about the games, didn't we?
What in terms of which ones we like to play or which are coming out?
One big game that is very obvious is going to be on PS5 is Call of Duty Cold War. What we've had this week is the Nazi Zombies reveal.
Yeah.
I know I watched that with Conway. Has anyone else seen it?
No.
Oh, guys, come on.
Walk me through it.
Oh, I saw the zombies thing. It looked quite good, actually.
The real trailer. It's basically, where the zombie trailers, the zombie storyline ended last time. They're leaving that alone. They're just paying a little bit of homage to it in terms of the original map that was on the first Nazi Zombies.
The very first one in that
first one, that little building.
What was that one called? That didn't have a name, did it?
What was it, like the one where you were in the cinema?
No, the very first one where it's just you could buy
Unpotent.
Yes, that's it.
Classic. Nothing will ever beat that map.
But it looks absolutely incredible. It's got the return of some of the wonder weapons, your weapon progress, whether you're playing on multiplayer, whatever else comes out from there, or zombies, it all carries through. So you can level up your guns. You start with your loadouts.
In zombies.
In zombies.
Rather than finding and trying to get a box and a teddy bear.
Exactly. You've still got that option. You've still got the mystery box and bits like that. But the graphics look amazing. Tom would, back to reference on Tom would literally poo his pants if you saw the dogs now. I'd love for you guys to try and get an image of that up at some point. Conway, what did you think of it?
I think it looks sick. They said in the trailer that, well, they said two things. They said, one, this is going to be your classic zombie experience, Call of Duty Zombies experience. And then it also said you're going to start with your loadout. So the classic experience is you starting with a pistol and trying to work your way up to better guns. So those two things kind of contradict each other. Although it does excite me that you could pick your guns before a zombie game starts and go like, oh, so how does this work?
I think that's a good idea.
Can I customize a? Yeah.
What if a riot shield would work?
Exactly. Yeah, things like that. You could also plan it as a four. Like us four could say, right, Scott, you have this big massive machine gun. I'll have a shotgun, and I'll stand behind, whatever. Yeah, that does seem exciting. I'm definitely excited to see how
they needed to change zombies again, because zombies was becoming a bit repetitive, a little bit dull, and I think they need to change up. So I'm looking forward to it more than I had ever before.
Yeah, one big change for there is traditionally you end zombies with you just get killed. That's the end of it. You can actually push. You can request an extraction, save your progress, take all your rewards with you, and basically leave the map. But
so there's an actual point to it now. That's good.
Yeah. Well, it's an optional thing. I think you don't have to call in an extraction, but as soon as you do, the zombies are sort of 3 or 4 times harder for the next 2 or 3 rounds whilst you get extracted.
Yeah, I think. But does anybody? And this is still on. I don't remember it might have been one of the Black Ops. But does anybody remember? It was like an arcade, it wasn't like a 3, like a first-person shooter, and it was an arcade. And Croxon, I know, we used to play this game all the time, and it was like proper arcade tool with stickman running around, and the bullets just used to spray out, and you were sort of like spinning around in circles. Does anybody remember that? Because
wasn't that part of a mini game in Zombies once, was it not? You could go to an arcade machine and play it. Yeah, it was. I think it was in the first Black Ops.
No, it was definitely a separate game on the menu. Croxon might be able to.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I remember.
I think I remember you had to break out your chair in one of the first Black Ops, and you'd go around to the monitor and be able to play.
Yes, because you used to get put in the was it when you used to get put in the dentist chair or whatever?
Yeah,
you used to be able to do stuff. Yeah. That was a really good game. Sorry, just wanted to bring that up. I love that.
So I feel like we've gone. Oh, one thing. When does Cold War release? Is it released with the PS5?
I thought it'd come out before then.
Let me find out.
It's still November that it comes out.
Oh, okay. So
it's going to be very, very similar timings, if not the exact date.
Because the consoles don't release at the same time, do they? Like PS5 and Xbox are not releasing on the same date. So
13th of November for Cold War.
And is it 11th or 10th for PlayStation?
November 12th. Okay, so it's the day after.
Okay, all right.
So it's basically a release title. So yeah. One other thing I wanted to talk about was this happened pretty soon after the last podcast, was that Microsoft bought Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
So Bethesda are a company that make a lot of games, including Skyrim and Fallout. So does anyone here played either of those?
Oh, you've not played. Please tell me you've played Skyrim at some point. Someone in this podcast.
Yeah.
That game is just memes. It's so fucking good. I love it. I'll send you some memes afterwards. It's fucking amazing.
It's a pretty good game in general. Memes. I have not played Skyrim. I know that I should, and I know that it's one of the best games.
It's one of those games you should play at least once, 100%.
But what I find interesting about Microsoft buying them is that they could potentially, if they wanted to, make Skyrim and Fallout and all those games that Bethesda make Xbox exclusives, which
would a really good bit of business.
Which would screw over a lot of people, because I know a lot of people play Skyrim on PS4 and would like to play on PS5, I imagine. So that's an interesting. I don't think they will do that, because I feel like they'll lose a lot of sales. But it is a big weapon they are wielding now, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, so we were just assuming that Microsoft are only interested in Xbox, but actually they're just a massive business, and they've got loads of different branches. So what would probably make more sense to them is, rather than alienate all of their loving fans on Skyrim and Fallout, they were really, really successful games, is to just develop new ones. And then relaunch them on the PS5 and have a bit of a foothold in that market as well, because it makes perfect sense, rather than moving it over to Xbox, because no Xbox sort of mainstays really played those games, and PS5 PlayStation players want to stay on PlayStation.
Yeah, but the other thing is that Microsoft can also allow people to play on PC as well. So they've got the PC and the Xbox market, and they could just say it's exclusive to those two things.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point, but PlayStation has so many really strong PS exclusive games, and they've got a massive host of them going into launch. what are the big Xbox ones that we've got going out that are coming out for?
Yeah, Halo. What Gears of War? They have, don't they, as well?
Halo.
They do, yeah.
I just feel like, I think you're right. I think PlayStation have got quite a few exclusives that are sort of tailored to
But the Xbox have always, there's been this running joke, hasn't there, between PlayStation and Xbox that the Xbox exclusives are really shit compared to PlayStation.
Yeah, exclusives are a strange one. We're going to move on now to Conway's quiz.
Hey!
This is Conway's quiz. So last week we had a quiz from Scott, and it was fun. We all had fun, but it wasn't very well organised. There was no sort of,
There's no rules. It was anarchy.
Scott, I know that criticism is difficult for you, but we're going to have to get over that, and we're going to improve. Okay, it's fine.
I just want to say, Scott, you did a really, really good job. You did a good job.
Do you know what? There's sarcasm. Look, do you know what? Like, all masterpieces, when they're not perfect from the start, are they? They're reworded, they're rewritten, they're reworked.
And that's exactly what I've done today. We've got a quiz with rules and stipulations, and we don't have prizes, but we do we do have the other things. Right. This quiz is use 3 against each other. So Scott versus James versus Dan. And it's to do with games' original releases. So, so I've got a full list here. I've got 15 different games that I've researched and found out when the original game came out, what year it came out. And I'm looking for the UK release because sometimes it's different between US and UK. And I'm going to give you 3 each, one by one. So the way that the quiz is going to work is that you get 1 point for a correct answer. If you get the year exactly on, you get 1 point. If you get it 1 year out, you get half a point. And if you get it wrong completely, then the other 2 can buzz in and steal the point.
Okay.
Right, so
I got it.
We're going to go Scott first.
Oh.
So we all love to play a bit of Mario Kart, right? But what year was the original Mario Kart released? I'll give you a clue. It was called Super Mario Kart, and it was on... I won't tell you what it's on, actually. Go on.
Now I'm going to talk you through my thought process here.
Go on.
So the first Mario Kart I ever played was Nintendo 64, but that's wrong. I reckon there was definitely an arcade one before that. This is fucking hard. I'm going to go 1991.
No, you're wrong. Would anyone like to steal?
Dan. 1988.
No, you're wrong as well.
Just going to be in the dark.
Unfortunately, Scott, I feel bad because you said 1991, didn't you? 1992 was the American release.
Oh, I knew that.
1993 was the European release. Okay, so no points there.
My thought process was on the right lines.
It did very well, very close.
This is fucking hard. 1 point for all that work. God.
No, you didn't get a point.
Well, yeah, true.
Okay, Dan.
Yes, sir.
Crash Bandicoot 1. The original Crash
I'm
Bandicoot.
going to talk you through my thought process as
Please
well.
do.
There aren't many.
So it's all a question of maths. So if I was born in 1991 and you subtract 100, add 7, divide that by 8, I think that brings you to the year, which would be 1997.
He's 1 year out, half a point.
The math was wrong.
Was it 98?
It was 1996.
Fuck.
Wow.
The answer was when Dan went, if I was born in 1991, you were.
You did.
It's like Rain Man all of a sudden.
Okay, Croxon, are you ready for your first question? Grand Theft Auto.
Or what was the name of the first one?
Grand Theft Auto 1.
Grand Theft Auto.
Was it volume 1?
It was just called Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. That's it. And let's go 98.
1 year out.
Ah,
Dan. Oh wait, no,
It's
I can't.
done.
Pass
It's done.
You can't steal half a
You
point.
can't steal half.
I can steal whatever I want. I'm desperate.
I remember the original Grand Theft Autos. They were like proper like 2D, weren't they?
It was like from the top down.
Yeah. I couldn't get on with them at all until they went to third person on Grand Theft Auto 3.
Which is a good one.
So it was 1997 for those playing along at home. Back to Scott. Scott, you're currently on 0. The other two have got half a point each. So, I mean, it's really is all to play for. FIFA.
That's fucking hard.
So I'll give you a little bit more information. It's often referred to as FIFA and then the year, but that would give it away. But its official name is FIFA International Soccer.
So I reckon Dan would know this. But the thing is, I don't know, because I reckon it's definitely going to be arcadey. They were all on PS1. I can sort of vaguely remember they were on PS1. I can see Dan shaking his head. He's trying to put me off. Right, I'm going to go for an arcade, and I'm going to go 1995.
Oh no, wrong. It's open to steal. It's open to steal.
James.
Dad, I'm going to take a guess because I'm actually sure. I'm
James,
going to go.
Hold up.
Definitely James. Sorry.
What?
James said his name first.
Oh,
did he? Yeah, I didn't hear that. Okay.
I didn't hear him.
Good. Eyes on Scotty. Well done. Okay, let's go 97 then.
No, it was 1993.
Oh, I hate Croxon. I was going to say that.
I knew
it wasn't on the PlayStation. It was on.
It was an arcade.
Two of the things it was on was PC, Game Boy.
Yeah.
No, sorry, PC, and Game Boy, and Sega.
Sega. I remember playing these like football games in the arcade.
It was called FIFA 94, and I had a look at it on YouTube when I was doing this research, and it looked shit, but it was amazing to see like what it started out as. It was sort of like you could only play from one angle, and it was sort of a 45-degree looking towards corner flag angle was a good way of saying it. Yeah, and so that is another big fat 0 for Scott, unfortunately.
I'm gonna have to write to the authors of this quiz.
Can we take that decision to VAR or something? Because I'm pretty sure I got in before Croxon.
Not a chance.
That's
miles out.
You were miles out.
I'll check it in the edit, Dan. Don't worry.
James.
Dad.
Okay, so it's Dan next, yeah?
Yeah.
Dan. Driver.
Oh, come on, that's easy.
96.
No.
Scott. Shit. 19. I remember playing it on the PlayStation 1.
I think I know.
1999.
Yes.
I would have gone with 8.
Yours. Straight in the vag.
Always a man of class, our Scott Jackson. Okay, so Scott has stolen a point. He's now in the lead with 1. So now it's down to Croxon. Croxon. Now we are gonna go Call of Duty.
Dan knows.
Dan knows. Call of Duty would have been. Let's go 99.
Nah.
No.
Earlier. PlayStation. PC. Oh, what am I talking about? I should have told you. Too busy talking through why Croxon's wrong.
Yeah. Dan, go on.
I've got 2000.
VAR for that.
2003, I believe.
Spot on, Dan. Well done.
Wow. Well done.
You knew that then.
I did. I had that game. Loved
on
it.
PC before then.
It was.
Did you have it? You had it on PC then?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I hadn't heard of Call of Duty until 4.
Great game. It was the first multiplayer game I ever proper got into. Like multiplayer as we know it now. Like jumping around shooting people. It's great.
Was it multiplayer then? I didn't know that.
Fucking
I
awesome.
thought it was just a campaign. Right, so now Dan's in the lead, 1.5 points. God, how did you do it?
Big oof.
1 round to go.
That was a steal from Croxon, though, wasn't it, at that point? Yeah. So we're back round to Scott for your final question.
Yes.
Tetris.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Sorry. Right, I've had Mario Kart before I was born. Before I had a PlayStation.
No. Mario Kart was 93, so you were born in 93.
I was 18 months old.
Yes, and you should have been gaming if you knew what was best for you.
I've had Call of Duty.
And you would have got that wrong as well.
Right. What was it? Sorry, Tetris.
Tetris.
1978.
No.
Dan.
1985.
1
year out.
Oh.
How did you know that?
It's just a game of maths, a question of maths, basically.
No, it's not.
It's a massive shot in the dark.
There is always a chance that people are Googling these things, and Dan is the most likely to have no idea. There will be stewards' inquiries if it's needed.
And with his dual screens.
I'm not cheating, I swear I'm not.
Right, so Dan, your final question. Pong.
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 Good luck. Never even heard of it, have you?
This was one of the first games. Hold on, hold up. This was one of
the mathematic brain should be thriving on this question, Dan.
Yeah. This is where you need an X-Files.
this right. So it's one of the first games. I'm gonna go 1980.
1980 is wrong.
Mm.
Any steals?
Scott, I'm going to try because there's nothing to lose. I'm going even earlier, 1975.
Oh, so close. 1972.
Oh,
wow,
God, shit. Sorry. Oh. So Dan's won.
Dan's
one
got
more.
2 points. Croxon has half a point. Yeah, he can't win, but he can come second and beating you if he gets this right. And actually, Scott, if you steal this,
I was going to say,
you can go join, and we'll do a tiebreaker.
Yeah, okay, fine, Croxon, let me steal.
Dan just going to be like the equivalent of mashing his keyboard. He's going to be like, actually, no, I'm going to stop that. Scott, you have first reserves on stealing on this.
Thank you very much.
Croxon, your question is Animal Crossing.
Oh, fuck off. I was expecting someone like Space Invaders. Animal Crossing. Oh, for fuck's sake. Let's go 2013.
No, I'll tell you that. No. So Scott, first reserves.
I don't know this answer.
That's the best guess.
You're not guessing.
Oh, I'm guessing. I'm guessing. Right. Animal Crossing.
This is the game, by the way, that Scott said to me, oh, Hannah really wants to play that new Animal Crossing game. And then immediately said, oh, no, it's 50 quid. Fuck that.
Oh, yeah. That sort of sounds like the thing Hannah would really like. Yeah, I'd like that. And then she looks at $49.99 on the Switch. Ridiculous.
Yeah, no discounts on the Switch.
Okay, I am going for... Oh, what did you say, Croxon?
Croxon said 2013.
2015.
No, wrong.
Oh.
Dan wins. It was 2000.
Was it 2009?
No.
Oh.
The original Animal Crossing was on the GameCube, and it was 2001.
Oh. That's like the longest awaited sequel ever, isn't it?
I think there was ones in between. I'll have to.
But that was fun.
I enjoyed that.
Conway. I enjoyed that mainly because I won.
I think I definitely had the hardest set of questions there. Come on.
I gave you Tetris, didn't I?
You gave me Tetris.
I gave you Tetris, but then I gave Dan Pong. So come on.
Yeah.
But it's the first ever game. He's got half an idea.
And then
no, because I got it about 10 years wrong.
And in the same round, I gave Croxon Animal Crossing, which I saw his face when he was asked that. He was not happy.
Can I put in a request? Can I do a quiz next week? Because I've just suddenly...
So far, I won the quiz last week, and that's why I volunteered to this one. So, Dan, if you would like to do a quiz next week, feel free.
Just remind me on the day off.
Oh, good.
Oh, great. This is going to be a well-done quiz, isn't it?
I know what I'm going to do.
Fine. Okay.
So Dan's the winner of the quiz.
Well done.
Thank you all.
Okay. So now we were going to talk about Rocket League. Now
we talk about it every fucking week.
Well, yeah, I know, but we've got a new spin this week, Scott. We played it last week for our game of the week, and we all really enjoyed it. But what I've been getting into because of my YouTube recommendations is high-level championship competitive Rocket League, and the shit that they can do. I sent you all a link. How many of you watched it?
I didn't watch that exact link, but I've been watching YouTube videos to try and make myself better. So it's actually the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
So me, Dan, and Croxon are kind of on board with this, and Scott's there making faces as if it's the most stupid thing ever. But it's not. It's interesting, right? Okay. We watched the final, the world final of Rocket League in 2019, in December, and the things that these players can do are just unbelievable. Like, you may have seen in our video, Scott saying stuff like, "How did he jump so high?" and stuff like that. And the people we're playing, they weren't doing anything like the kind of thing that these people are doing. They are floating through the whole pitch, carrying the ball the whole way into the goal, bashing it off the backboard, and then hitting it on the rebound in. It's insane. What did you think when you watched it, guys?
I think it's actually incredible. The stuff they could do, and there's actually technical terms for it as well. Like, they've got moves, like they call them, like they'll be jumping through the air and they'll flick it with the front of their car after dribbling it through the air, keeping it up. It's actually incredible. Like, I've got a lot of respect for these gamers.
Yeah. So in that clip that I showed you guys, there was a crowd. The crowd were going like a live crowd. I mean, this is before COVID, obviously, but there was a live crowd going absolutely mental, just like there was at a football game. They were jumping up, chanting and cheering. And
I mean, it was the World Championship final, and it was like the final of the X Factor in that arena. And I have to admit, it was very impressive what they could do with the cars and the goals they score. It was a bit fucking extreme. It was a bit dramatic.
It was a bit hectic.
I think it's really cool.
The finals where they're like falling on the floor. And... Just
if I can, right, while we're on this subject of esports, I worked the FIFA Esports Championship final at the O2 when I worked there. And I'm telling you, compared to the Rocket League crowds, there was no one at that final, like hardly anyone there. That Rocket League was insane for an esports game, for a final.
What game were they playing when you were there?
It was FIFA. It was like the World Championship finals of their thing, and like they'd rented out the O2 for it, so you think it's going to be massive and it'll be like an atmosphere and stuff like that. It's just, you notice that some games translate into esports way better than others. And
Rocket League
FIFA isn't one of those. Well. Rocket League is totally one of those.
It's Rocket League team game as well, which helps.
Yeah.
It's far more exciting.
I one of the things that came up recommended to me on Twitch was the official Rocket League channel, and they were live yesterday, and they had like 76,000 people watching them. That's insane numbers for Twitch. That's like really, really,
it's really high.
And just the whole time I was watching it, I was like comparing it to football and like the excitement and the sort of grand occasion that football creates, and it is very similar. The only thing that's different is that you're not there's no physical activity. So you'll see the champions, and it can just be some big fat bloke or some tiny little skinny kid that's like 13 or something.
Going on that, at this just because I've worked one of these events, the FIFA one, they had coaches. So you had the player playing the game, and behind him he had a coach. who would give him tactical advice and stuff like. No, Scott, I'm deadly serious. It's no joke. You've got professional sports teams who make esports teams now. It's such a up and coming thing. They're so popular, Scott. It seems really stupid, but they are insanely popular.
It's not stupid, and I get it. But I did think it was a bit extreme and a bit dramatic the way the kid was falling on the floor when he won, and he couldn't talk.
Do you know the prizes though? They get.
Yeah, I know. He hasn't won a Nobel Prize. He's not cured fucking cancer. He's won a fucking Rocket League.
Are you telling me you're like 18, 16 years old and you're going to get like £1 million for winning a Call of Duty competition?
They're all grown adults, most of them. That's his 7th time. Like, fine.
You're such a cynic, Scott. See the
good go out. Look, well done. You've won. Fine. Go out and get a fucking job and then play in your spare time. And if you're still that good, but you've got to have a coach to play PlayStation. No,
Scott, the prizes they're winning, they don't have to get a job. I've just Googled Rocket League prize pool 2020, 350k. I mean, that's the prize pool, so I don't know what the winner gets.
Check out the Fortnite. Check out the Fortnite prize pool. The prize for Fortnite was insane. It's that good, Scott. It's like a whole new sport.
If you're thinking about the world, if you're thinking about like, I just don't see what it's contributing. I'm sorry.
30 million was a Fortnite prize pool, and I'll tell you what it's contributing. 76,000 people are bothering to tune in just to watch it, and they're enjoying it. And that money's coming from somewhere. It's not some rich bloke just going, "Oh, do you know what? I really fancy some Rocket League." That is popular, and the prize pool reflects how much money's involved in the game.
I don't agree. I'm sorry. Me and you are going to have to work, how many years? 6, 7 years to earn that money minimum?
But you can make the same argument about football. Football shouldn't earn the amount of money they do, but they do because it's popular.
Yeah, but I don't agree with that either.
No, well, okay. Fair enough, we agree then.
Exactly, I don't agree. Like, I just don't see why it's such a humongous. They've made such a massive deal out of it. Like, yeah, if it was me, I'd be really happy, and then I'd carry on with my life.
Yeah, but their life is that.
That's the problem.
A whole year training. But yeah, but what? It's just a new thing, Scott. You're like an old man trapped inside a young man's body. We used to play.
Barely a young man.
I'm like a border
collie for me.
I don't really understand what Scott's getting angry at.
Look, right. I'll explain it in a nutshell. Here's my bullet points. It's too much money. It's not a big enough achievement, and they're not
asking you to pay it.
Look, that's the problem. It's too much money. It's not a big enough achievement, and they're not contributing enough to the real. That's why. What if you don't win? What if you're the one who comes second?
You still get a fucking prize pool, mate. You still get like 20 grand.
What if you're the one who doesn't get the prize pool? You dedicate all your life to it, or you injure your thumb. Or I don't know.
I'm sorry, I'm really failing to see what point you're trying to make here.
They're not contributing anything. Me and you have to go. Oh, right, I'm getting the ump now.
They are contributing as much as a footballer is at contributing.
Yes, but I'm not saying that's right, is it? Meanwhile, there's nurses. Okay, we're at £25,000 a year. Right, I'm just saying.
So you're arguing against footballers and sports in general?
No, yeah, against the money they're getting paid. Absolutely.
Right, okay, that's fair enough.
There's definitely. You're talking about football. He's talking about basketball players.
Right, we're gonna wind this chat down. I might have to just fade Scott's mic down a little bit.
All right. It just infuriates me.
Dan, are you ready for Tales from Verdansk?
I do have a tale for you all. Conway, I hope you've got your little finger ready because you're going to be my assistant on this one.
I'm ready on the button.
Because we've upped the budget. I've got special effects now. Right.
Everyone
Tales from Verdansk.
Close your eyes, everyone.
It's late evening, and you're dug down in an intense firefight with your team. You're held up in a house, fighting another quad across the street. The fighting is as violent and ferocious as they come, but you and your team have been here before, and you know what's coming. In the blink of an eye, you manage to take out 2 of the opposing team. All of this happens whilst Croxon and Scott cower in the furthest corner of the building, scared for their lives. A shot whizzes through the window and hits a nearby wall. Oops, says Croxon. Great, you think. It's now 2-on-4 and we've got them now. It's at this moment everything starts to go wrong. A Upon seeing the dead enemies and the loot that has befallen them, Croxon, now full of bravery and bravado, makes a mad dash for the loot, completely abandoning his team. Croxon. Whoa, that's some top loot right there, like. I've got to get my hands on that.
I love the Liverpudlian accent.
You try to advise
That's Geordie.
That's how I read his own pet.
You try to advise him not to go, but the lure of the extra loot is too strong for the little magpie. At this moment, Scott decides to emerge from his hidey hole and engage the enemy in low risk, far off smoke. Scott. Wow, this is slow. Wow, this slow and risk-free sniping is so fun. But I don't like this one bit. We should run away before we all die. They've got us now. You quickly remind him that it is in fact 2-on-4 and that we should attack. This was a big mistake. The itchy Conway has been dreaming of this moment all game and is rearing to go. At the slightest mention of an attack, he hastily abandons his team and charges in with just a right and a galley stick. Amongst the sound of exploding stun grenades, which clearly all missed their target, he quickly goes down and gets finished off abnormally fast. Oh, for fuck's sake, where were yous? I thought we were rushing them, he cries out with his dying breath. Upon seeing the destruction of his friend, Scott decides to make a run for it despite not being in any danger. No, I don't like this. I don't like this one bit. I'm out of here. This is far too hot to handle, he cries like the coward he is. You try to rally your team, insisting that you can win the fight, but it's too late. He's gone. In a largest attempt, you attempt to coax Croxon to stop looting and fight, but it's no use. Oh, look! More lovely loot for my collection! I'll be able to buy multiple self-revives with this, he says as he ransacks Conway's dead body. Completely lost, you charge the enemy alone and get mowed down. Oop, says Croxon at the sound of the gunfire. As you die, you see Croxon looting your body as Scott screams down the mic, "Run away!" And you think, why?
That's absolutely brilliant, Dan.
True story, that.
Right, a few points. Why do I sound Alan Carr? James isn't from Newcastle, and
he's from
you're the
North.
heroic narrator.
I will say the only impression you got spot on there was me raging about being killed. That was pretty spot on.
That was really good.
These are all characteristic tropes that we've all come across at some point.
I don't disagree with the gameplay.
Oh, it's all
right.
good fun.
Thank you for Tales from Verdansk, Dan.
No problem.
So we're nearly at the end now. All that's left to do is to ask Scott what his game of the week is going to be next week. Hopefully, it's a game we can actually play and get some footage for you guys. Over to Scott.
So I've been thinking about this long and hard. I've chosen now. Calm down. I've chosen 2 games. Here's the reasoning. The first game is quite a small game. It's not very in depth, and it's single player.
Mm-hmm.
That is I Am Bread.
Yes.
Yeah. That's it's on PlayStation now, right?
So on PlayStation now, it's meant to be like extremely annoying and difficult, and one of the hardest games people have played. And it's meant to be like quite frustrating. And I can imagine that we'll get some good footage from that, even if we're playing on our own or in a party chat together.
Mm.
The second game, that's the multiplayer game, is also on the PlayStation now. Is Steep.
Lovely.
So those are the 2 games I picked. The first one because it's hot right now, and and it's meant to be great. And the second
Give us a little explanation of what Steep is, Scott.
So it's basically like a downhill skiing / snowboarding game.
Simulator.
Simulator. That's the crux of it. Really, I've not played too much of it. I've only really played the demo, the bit where you sort of like flying through the air with like the parachute type thing. And I understand that the multiplayer, is it basically like racing, or you guys might have played it a bit more than me?
Yeah, you could do like speed runs and races
or trick petitions.
Tricks. Is it a bit like
It's a good laugh.
The old snowboarding games? It's like SSX Tricky or whatever.
Kind of, but not as
It
arcadey.
reminds me of that. Yeah.
So basically, we're all going skiing next week.
Hey.
Can't wait.
So those are my games. Are you happy with them, guys?
Yep, fine.
Yep.
Excellent.
Cool.
Can't wait. Now I've put on the Google Doc here homework. I wonder if you are wondering what it is. We've talked about it a bit before, but one thing I want to talk about next week is our earliest gaming memories. So the first game you can ever remember playing as a kid or at any point.
What's that smell?
First video game.
Okay.
So we won't talk about it yet. And if you're listening, please tweet or comment, tell us about yours, and we'll read them out next week. And we'll talk about ours as well. So yeah, the homework is to think about that, find what it is, because I found some pictures of the console that I was playing, and it's really weird.
I know what mine is.
Excellent. Okay, so that is that. That's episode 3 wrapped up. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Dankeschön.